ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। In the first session we saw the background story, and in that two shlokas which give the wonderful question that the Chandala asked Sri Shankaracharya that morning in Varanasi. Now we will take up the answer given by Sri Shankaracharya, which runs into 5 shlokas in the versified form. We take up the very first shloka in the set of 5 after the 2 shlokas which were from the mouth of the Chandala. Jagrat swapna sushuptishu sputatara yasam vidujrambhate ya brahmadi pipīlikānta tanushu Ota jagat sakshini Saivaham na cha drishya vastviti dridha Prajnapi yasyasti chet Chandalostu satudvijostu gururiti Esha manīṣā mama. Adi Shankara says, Esha manīṣā mama. This is my firm understanding. Manīṣā means understanding. Jnanam, or the way one sees. I see it this way. You have rightly asked me why this Brahma, Vibheda Brahma, this is a Brahmin, that is a low caste and so on. Let me tell you, I have no Brahma. There is no Vibhrama, there is no Vibheda Brahma. On the contrary, whoever has Brahmajnana, I look at that person as my Guru. I bow down before anybody who has Brahmajnana. Let that person be man or woman, foreigner or Indian. Let that person be a Brahmana or Chandala, Shudra or Kshatriya, Vaishya or Mlecha. So that amounts to that. Therefore, instantly, without looking left or right, without any hesitation, Adi Shankara says, I have no such confusion. I took you by your external form to be an ajnani. But if you are a jnani, then the external form does not come in the way. As you know, in the Upanishads also, we have women like Gargi and Maitreyi who had reached some level of maturity, engaging in Brahma Vidya discussion. We have somebody called Drupta Balaki, a Brahmana, in the story in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, who goes to a king, Kshatriya, called Ajatashatru, saying, I will teach you Brahma Vidya. Ajatashatru makes the Brahmana sit on a throne and the king sits below. And the discourse begins. But after some time, it so turns out that Balaki, the Vedic scholar, did not know anything which the king already had not studied. Really, the king knew more. That very rare story. The king knew more than this Balaki. There also, like Shankaracharya here, Balaki realizes, oh my God, I came to teach this king. Actually, I have to learn from this king. And like Shankaracharya, Balaki, without pretending to be knowing more but not feeling well today or something, he does not cover up the story. He just says, O king, I think I have to learn from you. Now, I will not try to teach you Brahma Vidya, you teach me. And the king feels a little hesitant. The king does not go up on the throne and ask Balaki to sit down. Rather, the king says, oh, you want me to teach you? All right. And then lovingly holds the hand of Balaki and says, let us go for a walk. And as they walk, the king, Kshatriya, teaches Balaki, the Brahmana. And the word is used in the Upanishad itself. Pratiloma. Anuloma means the way standard order goes. Pratiloma is reverse. In modern psychology, they call it role reversal. I think there is some story in the Puranas where role reversal took place between Shiva and Kartikeya. Kartikeya teaches Shiva, the son teaching the father. That is also Pratiloma or Viloma. Anuloma is the father teaches the son or daughter, husband teaches the wife. It is the old norm. But if a wife were to instruct the husband, son or daughter were to instruct the father or mother, and Kshatriya has to instruct the Brahmana in spiritual matters, then that is called Pratiloma or Viloma. Therefore, very much in the spirit of those Upanishadic narratives, Adi Shankaracharya says, Satu Guruhu, such a person with the highest wisdom, he is no less than a Guru to me. And without saying, we can imagine Shankaracharya bowing down before that Chandala. And then it is that the story generally is narrated that the Chandala appears as Lord Shiva and blesses Adi Shankaracharya and vanishes. However, the submissions of Shankara are expressed in 5 verses. The first one refers to the invariable principle through all the 3 states. And the 3 states, Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti, cover everything else. Somebody has fainted. Somebody has gone into what is called coma in medical science. Someone might have gone into yet another state of some delirium. Delirium also is some kind of abnormal state. Somebody might have taken some drugs. So we don't say it is normal waking state, nor is it dream. Of course, not deep sleep. But because of some drugs that somebody has taken, he is seeing a different world. Maybe it comes closer to dream, but it is not exactly dream. But the rule is this. You take this waking state as the reference. This is Jagrat. The reality of this Jagrat itself is utterly questionable. It's written there on the board also at the entrance. Dream is not more real than, no, other way. Waking is not more real than dream even by a bit. Waking is as unreal as dream. However, we have a sort of attachment to the waking state. All right. Take the waking state as a reference. If this table, if this hall, if these people, and the smell and taste and sound, etc., of this state are continuously perceived, that is waking. If some other smell, some other names and forms, nama-rupa, some other taste, and we also find ourselves in some other place, then that is dream. Whether it is the regular dream or a state arrived at by consuming some drugs, which could be an injection, which could be through the mouth, through maybe smoking. There are so many forms, I believe, of psychedelic drugs. Question is only one, no matter how you arrived there. Are they the names and forms that you see in waking? If the answer is no, they were different. Here I am at Hamsashram. In that state, I found myself in Hyderabad. I was at such and such place, etc. one says. Then immediately it is called Swapna Avastha. So technically, both Jagrada Avastha and Swapna Avastha have one thing in common. There are sounds and smells, there are names and forms, there are colors, there are all these things which we have in waking, but they are not the ones that we met with in waking. Then it is Swapnavastha. Then that leaves only one possibility, where there are no names, no forms, no sound, no smell, no touch, no taste, and so on, and no one to smell, no one who is touching, no one who is smelling, who is tasting. So both the object and the subject, karma and kartru, both are simply absent. There also we would say it is either sushupti as we experience or any other state. The only question asked is, did you see absence of everything? Then that is sushupti. Therefore, nama rupa are present, it is waking or dream. Nama rupa are absent, is sushupti. And the difference between waking and dream is simply a matter of reference. We are seeing something. If you take this as reference, then anything which may otherwise be very similar, but other than this, anything other than this is Swapna. Therefore, in advanced Vedanta, Jagrita and Swapna, though in one sense are considered two states, are in another sense considered one state only. Jagrita and Swapna are in one box. Sushupti is in another box. Sushupti is marked by absence of subject-object division. Jagrita and Swapna both are one kind only. Therefore, no difference really. Somebody first time went to USA in the 1960s, traveled a long distance, America, and then next day when sunrise took place, he asked a neighbor, which direction is this? They said, east. He said, I am disappointed. Here also sun rises in the east. Here also sun rises in the west. Then what difference? You see, his criterion was like that. The direction in which the sun rises or sets. So if your criterion is there are Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, if that is the criterion, no difference between waking and dream. There also you cry, you laugh. There also you eat, you drink, you sleep. There also you go through all these kind of. There also there is time, there also there is space. Anything you mention in waking is found in dream. Therefore, they are not different at all. Both of them are just appearances. On one level, you say you are the adhisthana and they appear upon you. But going further, you say you yourself appear as the entire waking. You yourself appear as the entire dream state. Because if you say, I am the adhisthana, I have nothing to do with what appears, then that becomes duality. In cinema show, you have the screen, number one. Then a projector projects certain pictures. A horse is running, somebody is sitting upon the horse. When the projector is turned off, that horse and the rider, all of them vanish. So, one is the screen, other is the images. So, Dvaita, duality. Whereas in Brahma Vidya, there cannot be any duality. This Shuddha Brahma itself appears as everything. Elsewhere it is also said Brahma is the Upadana Karana, Brahma itself is Nimitta Karana, Brahma itself is Sahakari Karana. Unlike the potter and the pot, here there is no duality. In the case of potter and the pot, potter is separate, the clay with which he makes the pot is different, the wheel on which he places the clay and creates the pot, that wheel is different. So the potter, Nimitta Karana, the wheel, Sahakari Karana, the clay, Upadana Karana, are all three different things. But here, Brahma alone is everything. In this shloka, Shankaracharya chooses to say Sakshini. Sakshini is Strilinga, feminine. In Sanskrit, the word Atma is masculine, Pullinga. So why has he called Sakshini? It should have been Sakshi. Just to clarify a minor issue, instead of the word Atma, Adi Shankara has chosen the word Samvit. Samvit is feminine. Every language has its own unique features. All languages. In Sanskrit, for the meaning of wife, you may use Bharya or Patni, which are feminine words, Strilinga Shabda. If you use the word Daraha, it is masculine, grammatically. The word is masculine, Daraha. And what is more, that has to be used in plural only. Even if you have only one wife, you have to say Daraha, and you can't say Mama Daraha Agacchati. The Daraha is, by grammar, a masculine plural word. Mama Daraha Aduna Agachanti, Agamishyanti, they will come. You have more than one wife? Then he clarifies, no, Daraha Shabda Sarvada Bahuvachane Eva Prayujyate. The word has to be used in plural. Then there is a third one. If you use the word kalatram, that is neuter. Napunsakalinga shabda. You know. So you want to introduce your wife and say she is very highly educated, more educated than I am. Then if you use the word kalatram, mama kalatram ativa sushikshitam, you have to say. Mama bharya ativa sushikshita. Mama daraha ativa sushikshitaha. So if this is grammar, what can we do? Like in English too you have. Let's say in Kannada we call this Kannadaka. Kannadaka ide, singular. But in English, spectacles is plural. You can't say, where is my spectacles? You have to ask, where are my spectacles? That's like Dara, plural. Where are my spectacles? Where are my glasses? So, Sakshini, in waking, Jagrat, Swapna, dream, Sushupti, deep sleep, dreamless sleep. In all of them, Sputatara. Sputa itself means clear, beyond doubt. Sputatara means very clearly. No one can question it. So clearly, there is a principle which is I am. What dream came and went may change from time to time. But I, the sense of I, runs through Jagrat Swapna and Sushupti. Ya Samvit, that principle of knowledge. Vid means to know, Veti. The word Veda also comes from Vid. Samvit, that which knows most clearly. Samvit Tattva. This is actually Vedantic mysticism. We are so attached to the mind and senses that we think without the mind we cannot know. Without the senses, indriyas, we cannot know. But the Upanishads say, not quite true. Knowing primarily belongs to Chaitanya Tattva only. And that Chaitanya Tattva can know anyway. However, in your egoistic existence, it uses the mind. It is no different from the mind. Mind doesn't have independent existence. But in Brihadaranyaka, there is a very thought-provoking mantra. Pashyati achakshuhu shrunoti akarna. And you can add manute amana. Without mind it can think. Without eyes it can see. Without ears it can hear. A mind-blowing statement. It is of the nature of Jyoti. There is a section in Brihadaranyaka again called Jyotir Brahmana. Brahmana means section. The Jyotir Brahmana also says, when the sun doesn't shine in the sky, when the moon doesn't shine, when there is no fire, when there are no indriyas operating, when the mind also is not working, then this Atma itself knows everything. The Atma is of the nature of Jyoti. That section is called Jyotir Brahmana in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So Samvit is that Jyoti, that light which can know by itself. But we are so used to Indriya Jnana, Mano Jnana, Buddhi Jnana, Pustaka Jnana. Modern children are so used to this iPad, etc. You give them an ordinary book, regular book, they'll take it and try to move their finger on the book, like they do on the iPad. Because they are so used to gadgets, electronic gadgets. You give this, they will say, okay, and they'll try to click this paper. By clicking the paper, what will happen? You can click an electronic gadget, not paper. But today's children are so used to. Of course, then they may realize, oh, this is paper. They are more used to electronic gadgets than printed books, written books, sheets of paper. Why blame them? We are so used to our body, senses, and the mind, and therefore we do not look at ourselves as pure consciousness. We think of pure consciousness as, okay, having studied Vedanta, I believe in it. One of these days I hope to meet it. One of these days I hope to shake hands with this Atma. You are the Atma. You cannot ever shake hands with Atma. Some with Ujrambate or Vijrambate, either way. And then comes the poetically beautiful expression, Yo or Ya. Ya is feminine. Samvit Ya. Ya Brahma Adi Pipilika Anta Tanushu Prota. Prota is spread over. Ota Prota. There is an expression. In a piece of cloth, in a simple way of weaving, they say there are threads running left to right, threads running top to bottom. The warp and woof, there are some idioms like that. Weavers know how it all goes. So, Prota, Pra plus Uta. Whether it's a crawling ant with a tiny body or Chaturmukha Brahma sitting in Brahmaloka, creating everything, very exalted celestial figure, and then countless beings in between. They say 84 lakhs, right? Yonis. And in huge yoni, how many number exist is a different issue. A red ant is a particular yoni. And there may be billions of red ants on the earth. A particular fish, cod fish, let us say, is one yoni. There may be tens of thousands or millions of cod fish in the oceans. So, this statement is very powerful. Brahmadi pipilikanta tanushu deheshu eka eva samvit vijrambate, that is Jagat Sakshini. And if someone knows Sa eva aham, Saivaham, again Sa, Strilinga because Samvit. Sa Samvit aham eva, or Sa Samvideva aham. That itself is me, I myself am that. Sa eva aham nacha drishya vastu. Drishya vastu is whatever. Here vastu means thing. In an earlier sloka I said vastu means reality. Pratyak vastuni. Depends on the context. Otherwise, not only in our Indian languages other than Sanskrit, in Sanskrit also, in some context, vastu means whatever is. It can be a stone, it can be a pen, that's also vastu. Nacha drishya vastu iti drida prajna api yasya asti. Whoever. Next, last line of course says Chandalaha astu. Let him be a Chandala. Let him be a Dvija. How does it? Let him be a very small child. Morning I used the expression Baladapi, Shukadapi. There is some shloka where it is said one must do Viveka, and if something wrong is said by somebody, whether it is by a child or by a parrot, if it is wrong, you reject it. You don't take it. And if something true is said, something wise is said, then you should accept it, even if it is said by Bala and Shuka. Both places, same expression is used. Baladapi, Shukadapi. But very intelligently, a Bala, a human child. Some children are prodigies, may they say. But can parrot give very wise advice? That shloka has a pun on the word Shuka. In the first part, where something to be rejected is mentioned, it's a parrot which is just repeating what it heard, doesn't have intelligence. In the second part of the shloka, Baladapi Shukadapi, Shuka doesn't mean parrot. Shuka means Shukacharya. Shukamuni, born enlightened, son of Veda Vyasa. So Sanskrit has its own fun. Baladapi Shukadapi. One place Shuka is parrot, another place Shuka is Shukamuni. So here, Chandalaha astu, Dvijaha astu, Vaishyaha astu, Shudraha astu, Mlechaha astu, and Kshatriyaha astu, Stri astu, Balaha astu, Shukaha astu, Gopi, Prani astu, whatever. I bow down, even if this wisdom is seen in a crow. Shukahastu, Pikahastu, Kakahastu. Kaka is a crow. All that is implied here, and that way, no wonder Vedanta is respected all over the world. People may have some misunderstanding about Hinduism. That is because of their ignorance. That's a different issue. But all over the world, even the so-called leftists and communists and non-believers and atheists, etc., they respect Vedanta. Because here and there they come across a little Vedanta and then they see in the Vedanta, highest respect is given to seeing things as they are. Samyak Darshana. Vedanta is therefore respected as most rational, most tarkabadda. It is not opposed, it is not illogical. It rather questions logic, it rather takes one to the limits of logic and then says something which, yes, logic may not be able to prove, nor can logic disprove. Logic just says, this is beyond me. And all mystics from other traditions like Zen Buddhism or Christian mysticism, they also have said things which are difficult to or impossible to prove, equally impossible to disprove. In our tradition, not only moksha, but dharma also is said to be beyond indriyas, beyond logic. For example, even a simple thing such as satyameva jayate, or in modern Sanskrit, satyameva jayati. Satyameva jayati cannot be proved by logic. It is a matter of faith. It's a matter of accepting it through some other means. Otherwise, in the world, just by going logic, somebody who tells lies can be victorious. A lot of people have that doubt. They say these days dishonest people are rising and so on. Though Nirav Modi, Vijay Mallya, and some Choksi, then someone else, and a lot of big people also have behind bars. Still, people don't have Shraddha. They think that those are all exceptions. But most people telling asatya are doing very well. So, really speaking, not only with respect to God or Brahman of Vedanta, but even for Satya and Ahimsa, it's not within logic. You can neither prove nor disprove. So, Vedanta is respected for this kind of mind-blowing statement. If someone has the purest wisdom, no matter what she or he is, Chandalahastu, Vijahastu, so Guruhu. Now in the second verse, let's see. Brahmaivahamidam jagatcha sakalam chinmatra vistaritam sarvam chaitadavidyaya trigunaya शेषं मया कल्पितम् इत्थं यस्य दृढामतिः सुखतरे नित्ये परे निर्मले चण्डालोऽस्तु सतुद्विजोऽस्तु गुरुः और गुरुरिति एषा मनीषा मम. Among the five, the first two verses we notice end with the same line. Chandalostu satudvijostu gururiti esha manisha mama repeats in both. What the second verse brings to the table newly is how the wise person knows very clearly that I am Brahma, I am Chinmatra. Chit means pure consciousness. Chit plus matra by sandhi becomes Chinmatra. Everything is an expression, everything is an extension, everything is an expansion. Vistaritam. Vistara is expansion. Aham Brahma eva sakalam jagat chinmatra vistaritam. In Hindi, vistara becomes bistar, bed. The old kind of bed, not this karlan and sleep well, etc. That cannot be folded easily. But our old type of bed used to be morning you get up, you roll it, keep it in a corner. Night when you have to again use it, vistara is spreading. You open it, roll it. So vistara, Hindi, North India, they took it and made the very word for asige is bistar. Vistara became bistar. Vistaritam. So, what a beautiful insight. If we know we are pure consciousness, we will not have the sense of limitation which we have when we are thinking of ourselves as a body. Especially as we get older, various health issues typically come one by one. Joint pain, leg pain, and indigestion, and some people lose memory, and many celebrities also. I guess one of the presidents of United States, even when he was ruling the country, had Alzheimer, though it was kept a little bit secret. Who was that? Reagan maybe. Ronald Reagan probably, if I remember right. He was the president in the chair, but he had a little bit of Alzheimer, but they kept it confidential or at the most a little bit of the president seems to have Alzheimer. Went once more for test and so on. They would just cover up. So, if we are identified with the body, it is a problem. If we have Vedanta knowledge, the body's limitations are not a problem. Relationships are not a problem. Somebody who was respecting me before does not respect me. Fine. Somebody who showed much love and affection is very indifferent to me. somebody who actually praised me everywhere, now is doing opposite everywhere. Goes to all places and talks ill of me, let us say. No problem. Because, as the second line says here, Sarvam cha etad avidyaya kalpitam. Everything. She spoke ill of me. My mind has conceived her as though there is somebody other than me. There is nobody other than me. This is the Vedanta's unbelievable statement. You alone are. There is nobody else, says Vedanta. Vedanta turns a lot of things upside down. Just as physics changed a long held belief till about the 14th century or 15th century, the whole world believed Earth is the center of the universe and sun goes around the Earth and many allied beliefs. And then one or two people, I guess Galileo and who else? Somebody else also pointed out. They were persecuted, they were killed, but slowly they accepted. So Earth is the center, the sun goes around it, was the old belief. Sun is the center, Earth goes number one around its axis, then around the Earth over a year was the discovery. You know what? Vedanta is not just about some high-flown beliefs. It attacks a very common belief of day to day. You and I constantly think, I have this duty, I have that duty, I have to do this. Vedanta turns it upside down. It says, you actually have no duty, no kartavya. Therefore, Vedanta is not advised to everybody. They will get very confused. They will not do their duties. If you clearly know you have no duty, then no problem. Merely taking a statement and not doing your duty will lead to guilt next day. Because that day when you heard the lecture, you felt, yeah. But next day, you go back to your old belief and you will feel guilty. Some people who went to Vedanta and then their life went for a tailspin, they did not perform duties and so on. In their heart of hearts, they were very attached to their duties. But they heard Vedanta, they did not do their duty for a few days. Then they said, what am I doing? I am not taking care of my family, I am not doing this, that. They got angry with Vedanta. They have said, either in public or privately. All this confusion because I attended that Swamiji's Vedanta. Earlier I was doing very well. Therefore then, because they are not at all ready for Vedanta, they will keep a distance from Vedanta. Dur se namaskar, they will say. But if you are mature enough, if you have Viveka Vairagya, if you do proper upasanas, proper anushtanas, if you calm your mind, if you slow down your mind, like Ramana Maharshi used to say, if the fan slows down, you will clearly see the three blades. If the fan is rotating very fast, then you say, where are the blades? Likewise, do japa, do your yogasana, then you will find lot of energy you will save. You will save a lot of energy. And when you save mental energy, not physical, inner energy, that's energy that is saved will make it possible for you to get insights. Ah, my God. So true. I have no duty. No duty at all. Then I met a wonderful man. He had heard just a few Vedanta discourses, and I hope his so-called realization stays on. I met him recently. He is into some business and etc. But he seemed very relaxed. I asked him, "What are you doing these days?" He smiled. "Nothing, Swamiji. But I heard you are a businessman." People think of me as a businessman. But thanks to the Vedanta I studied, I know that I am not doing it. Then I was surprised, my God, because very rarely a Vedanta student speaks like that. And after some time again, I was, you know, I said, well, maybe you want to go home now. There are many things. Maybe your family is waiting. Nothing waits for me. Whether I am here or I am at home, it makes no difference, he said. And later on, I said, in September I am coming. I want to meet you. When can I meet? 24 hours, 7 days a week, I am available, sir. Sannyasis cannot speak like that normally. Sannyasis say we have some book to write or some, meditation to do. But this man in pant and shirt, just about 50-year-old, and in September I will meet him again in Bangalore. I will see how he is doing. All he has done is, he has gone to some holy places and he has meditated and he has heard some Vedanta lectures and he is very devoted to his Guru. So, he seems genuine. Anyway, I'll verify again in September. Looks very genuine. Looks like he was receptive. He took it. So even now he has not left his business. He is running the business. But he still says, from one angle of view, I am running a business. But really, I know that I am not doing anything at all. Things are happening. That's what the Gita says. Prakrityaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashaha ahankara vimudatma tahamiti manyate. So we don't do anything at all. So Shankara pays a tribute to any person, lady or man, who knows Trigunaya avidyaya, avidya, that erroneous perception, which then expresses as lots of things all constituted of three gunas. Maya kalpitam. I have just imagined. Itham, in this manner. Evam. Itham yasya dridha mati. Therefore, like the businessman whom I described, who perhaps if at this rate, if he goes ahead, he will just be, he will be a mystic whom everybody will approach. He will be established in that freedom. Right now, there are signs of that freedom, signs of that, and he's quite clear. He's not just talking like a parrot. He knows what he is talking. So, eventually, he may be a well-established Gnani on the earth. Ittam yasa dridamatihi sukatare nitye pare nirmale. It's only erroneous perception, asamyak darshanam, avidyaka drishti rising from avidya. Avidyaka drishti, that we think we have beauty, we think we may not be enlightened in this life, we are worried about 100 things. All of them together as though are dumped, are thrown out of the window if you come upon the Vedanta insight and stay there. Therefore, on one hand, Anushtana, Upasana, and healthy habits, healthy physical habits, healthy mental habits will prepare the ground And then when the insight hits you, you will be set free. And Shankara says, whoever does every moment, so to say, that person is beyond time, but from our angle of view, every moment. That person doesn't think of, well, I'm now feeling free. I hope tomorrow also I will feel free. You won't think like that. Those who think of time as real do not know. Once Anandamayima and Papa Ramdas of Kanjangad, they were going together to a function and they were getting late. The function somewhere in South India, Palakkad or somewhere. 6:30 was the function and they were at 6 o'clock they were still some 20 miles away. So there was a little concern, will we be late to the function? And Papa Ramdas actually I suddenly looked at the watch. And Anandamayima, another great enlightened saint, sitting next to him, asked Papa in a teasing manner. She teased him. What, Ramdas is still in time? Because enlightened people are supposed to go above time, beyond time. But Ramdas, without batting an eyelid, simply said to Anandamayima, maybe calling her Ma, Ma, or maybe Didi, whatever. I think maybe he was older or similar. Ma, this Rama, I think you called, or Ramadas. Ramadas is both in time and beyond time. He says, no conflict. No conflict. No sangarsha. He said, Rama is both in time and beyond time. In one sense, things have to be done. We have promised so many people will come at 6:30. Now if we go at 7 o'clock, they all will be inconvenienced. That has a truth of its own on a level. But in another sense, what Rama decides happens. Who are we to question the wisdom of? There is that three books, right? What are they called? Three books. A Quest of God, or there is a book, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. Papa Ramdas. And there are very weird things in that. One place he gave time to go two places in Bombay together. Monday evening he said, I am coming to your place. And somewhere else he said to another party also. There's one party in Andheri and another party in Matunga. And on that day he went to Matunga, let's say. That day that time cell etc. was not there. Phoning also was inconvenient. He didn't inform. Next day the Andheri people asked him, Papa, what did you do? You said you would come to our place. But you went to Matunga, we heard you did not come to our place. We were all waiting. And he had no guilt, no shame, no hesitation. He said, that is what Rama wanted. Then he went to the next topic. You and I also can try to do it. But after saying that, after turning that way, we will be wondering, how has he taken it? Will he be angry with me? He may never invite me again. We, with our attachments, with our body identification, with the very limited idea of right and wrong, would be not at peace. We would be saying to ourselves, I should not do it. I should keep a proper record. My appointments I should never forget. I think I should have a secretary who will keep the records. Etc. How many thoughts will come to us? Right? But Papa Ramdas just said that was Rama's will. And I think later on somebody else also asked, how can you be so irresponsible? He said there is no irresponsibility in Rama's book. Rama does everything with a purpose. So if I went to Matunga in Bombay, it was for some purpose. Rama wanted me to be there. If I forgot Andheri and did not visit that house, Rama knew that they should not get this person going there. Such alignment, such complete agreement, which is called surrender. Such complete surrender. No doubt at all. Therefore, Papa Ramdas in Kanjangad near Kasaragod, even today is worshipped and adored by so many people from around the world. Thus, whoever, in the language of bhakti, I have surrendered to Rama, Rama does everything. In the language of jnana, I am not this person at all. I am the Satchit Chaitanya Tattva. If someone, yasya is whoever has such matihi, saha mama guruhu, iti esha, thus such is the firm understanding. Om Namah Shivaya.